What's up, guys? Bryantfitnessadviser today, and we're back through again today because I went to the park today and it just wasn't the right setting. I know it just was something wrong. Couldn't get a video done there. Outside, the other people were talking. I'd get into a setting that is comfortable enough for me to talk and enough for me to preach when I preach on a daily basis. So, first, we are going to get into overtraining and the truth. And as I talk about all the time, it's important to have good nutrition. It's important to have good nourishment. It's important to have a balance of macronutrients, micronutrients, macrominerals, vitamins, essential macronutrients, macrominerals, and vitamins that are required for your body. And the major thing that I want to talk about in this video, of course, is going to be about overtraining and goodness. I'm going to go into depth about this in the video, probably be like 10 minutes, maybe even more than that. But the major thing is to get the food's high nutritional value. The bargain foods that you talk about, not the foods high in no nutritional value, not the empty calories that have no nutritional value, not those, but the foods high in nutritional value, the nutrients, macronutrients, micronutrients, macrominerals, vitamins, is to make sure that they get down to the esophagus, to the gastrointestinal tract, and the foods high in saturated fats, foods high in lipids, foods high in polyunsaturated fats, the foods dense in protein, foods dense in carbohydrates. If they don't block the macronutrients, they don't block macrominerals, micronutrients, the vitamins from getting down there and to get fully processed and to get fully broken down and synthesized, because usually we have it is we don't want the saturated fats, foods high in saturated fats, foods high in polyunsaturated fats. We don't want the foods that are dense and rich in carbohydrates, that are dense and rich in protein, to be clogging up your gastrointestinal tract up, and then it prevents the macronutrients, macrominerals, and micronutrients, vitamins, foods from getting down into the catabolic breakdown, so catabolism can happen, anabolism can happen, biosynthesis can happen, the functions of the body that your body wants to do, that your metabolism is initially set up to do, your metabolism, your basal metabolic rate, your BMR, cannot do it because the saturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, the lipids, the carbohydrates, the protein are preventing the macronutrients, macrominerals, micronutrients, vitamins from getting through because they're clogging up. So they're making a blockage. So macronutrients, macrominerals, micronutrients, vitamins, they are trapped in this little blockage, and you usually have to rely on insoluble fiber, probiotics to get the saturated fats out of there, to get the polyunsaturated fats out of there, to get the foods dense and rich in carbohydrates, dense and rich in protein out of there, so it can be processed and it can be broken down in the catabolic breakdowns. In catabolism, which is really major. As I talk about all the time, my channel, you see me preaching the function of the body, as I made the whole series, the science of the body. You can go on the video, science of the body. I did science of the body, weight gain, why people gain in weight, why people are obese, why people are fat. I did that too. I did the function of the metabolism, process of the metabolism. You can go in that video right now, and it's major that they get down to the esophagus, and that they're not blocked from getting fully processed down to the gastrointestinal tract, so they can be able to be broken down and synthesized and processed in the catabolic breakdowns. So catabolism can happen, and we don't want the foods high in lipids, saturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, carbohydrates, and protein. We don't want the foods dense and rich in this to block the nutrients of bargain foods from being delivered down in there. It's really just going to affect our nourishment, our nutrition at all, and the metabolism's functions. If the functions are going to even be able to be served, and they need to be served. They need to be able to be served because they're a requirement for your body, is that they need to happen. Catabolism needs to happen. So the food is broken down, the food's high nutritional value, the nutrients, macronutrients, macrominerals, micronutrients, vitamins, they're broken down, the bargain foods are broken down, they're synthesized, they're processed, and then through that process of getting broken down, synthesized, processed, energy is released. You go into anabolism, catabolic breakdowns, energy is released. Anabolism is requiring the energy from the food, so after the food is broken down, the energy is released, and then in anabolism, which is really major, in catabolism, like it's dependent on anabolism and anabolism is dependent on catabolism. I talk about it in all my videos, guys. You can go on all my videos and just look at that. But it's really major that metabolism is not preventing your body from having these functions, because it's something that it's requirements for your body that it's supposed to be doing. Your body is supposed to be serving. It's a requirement, especially for your metabolism, getting involved with your body and catabolism and anabolism. But the nutritional food, the bargain foods high in nutritional value, that they get broken down, energy is released, and anabolism requires energy. So the energy from the bargain foods, the foods high in nutritional value, that the foods are broken down and they release energy. And if the foods are never gotten there, so if it's clogged up by saturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, foods dense in carbohydrates, foods dense in protein, then macronutrients, micronutrients, vitamins, they're never going to be delivered down fully. They're just going to be clogged there, and you're just going to have to wait for insoluble fiber and then probiotics to get down there so they can stop saturated fats, foods high in saturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, lipids, carbohydrates, food dense in carbohydrates, protein, from clogging the gastrointestinal tract up, and really so it can stop constipation, bloating, and inflammations. Even at that is why we look at insoluble, soluble fiber, and probiotics, which I made a video of the hidden benefits of probiotics. Yeah, they do that. I made the hidden benefits of probiotics, hidden benefits of insoluble and soluble fiber. Did I? I think I did. But it's major that energy, that the food is broken down, energy is released, and energy is required. If energy is not released, then energy cannot be required for anabolism. Then if catabolism never happens, then your metabolism never requires energy to make the metabolites, the offspring of the metabolism that aid in the growth, reproduction, and development of muscle fibers. So biosynthesis can come into play. The building up of muscle fibers, some from complex, that have less of a capacity to grow, that have more of a capacity to grow. As we look at some from complex, small to large, building up to a more complex structure, from a complexity that is usually low to a complexity that is usually high. And to make sure that everything requires energy. Your metabolism requires energy to make the offspring of the basal metabolic rate, which is the metabolites, and that aids in the growth, reproduction, and development of muscle fibers, simple from complex, and that goes along to the whole play of biosynthesis. Your muscle fibers require energy to go simple from complex muscle fibers. They require this energy, and you make sure that you're getting it, and you make sure that you have good nourishment, that you have good nutrition, so you're not getting just a limited amount of energy and not the amount of energy that your body requires. These functions, your metabolism requires, everything requires, anabolism requires. After we get down into the nitty gritty catabolism, as I talked about. But it's major that also the metabolism requires energy to make the metabolites and the growth and reproduction of muscle fibers. And muscle fibers, they go from simple to complex, and they require the energy to go from simple to complex and more of a complex structure, so they have more of a capacity to grow, and that the blood vessels, they require the energy so they can supply and deliver the oxygen, because everything requires energy. Basal metabolic rate requires energy to make metabolites and the growth, reproduction, and development of muscle fibers. Your muscle fibers require energy to go from less of a complex muscle fiber to more of a complex muscle fiber. So go from simple to a complex muscle fiber, more of a capacity to grow. So less of a capacity to grow to more of a capacity to grow. And it's really major in the blood vessels is that they need the energy, and it's you can't stall the processes, the functions of your metabolism, that your body needs to go out, and your metabolism works with your body to handle out these functions. Your body is your metabolism's friends. Everything works along with your body. Your metabolism, everything. There's always a reason, the science behind the body, the science of the body. Not science behind the body. Science of the body. That's what the series is called. Science of the body. That's what it's called. And it's really major so that the blood vessels require the energy so they can supply and deliver the oxygen to the body's cells and muscle tissue. that they need. So we got done with explaining that. We got done with catabolism, anabolism, biosynthesis. I was on Omega, whatever this person called Joanna or whatever. This person said she was going to subscribe to my YouTube account. So, I mean, if this person does subscribe to my YouTube account, and this is a shout out to that person, if this person does subscribe to my YouTube account, I'm really thankful. You know, I don't get many subscribers, and I'm at 29 subscribers right now. Maybe people are being douches, maybe people are not being loyal fans that I would appreciate them to be. So I really just want people that are going to stick with me. I know some people, I'm not going to mention any names, but I know some people, some really good guys that are sticking with me right now, and I appreciate this one man for sticking with me. He knows who he is. He's a good man, he's a nice man, he's a kind-hearted man, and he's getting everything thrown to him in life because he's altogether a good person. He's not a bad person at any means. So, and that's usually what the people that follow me are, usually good people. And just like the other guy, I don't remember his name, but he lost like nearly 200 pounds. And was basically his inspiration. It's pretty overwhelming. It's overwhelming. It's pretty emotional to hear that from a guy when you just hear a fat activist commenting after that on your video. It makes you really mad, especially if you're the owner of this YouTube account. If you're Brian Sticker Fitness, it's anyways. We're gonna get into let's stop talking about that. We're gonna get into overtraining and the truth. So the truth about this is that it's really stalling your gastrointestinal tract, and it's really messing with the functions of the body. If the functions of the body can even happen, overtraining it is not the best type of. Let me fix my watch for expands. So many people think that overtraining, just because it's more. Oh yeah, it's better for hypertrophy. It's better for muscle fiber expansion. To go from low capacity to go from more of a capacity go from muscle fiber type 1 to muscle fiber type 2, when that's actually not the point. I find it really interesting. It's something that I haven't covered on here. I wanted to cover it on here. I couldn't find a way to say it today. I come here today and I'm all ready to say it. So I might have another video after this. It should be like another motivational video. I think, for the people that actually stick with me, I appreciate that. They're the people that I dedicate all my videos to. They're the people that ultimately want to help at the end of the day. Any people that want help, you can contact me on my email, Bryantfitnessadviser@gmail.com. Bryantfitnessadviser@gmail.com. And you can comment, you can ask me questions, you can just, you can reply me, you can say, hi, what's up, and I'll say, I replied to you, and ask you if you want any help. If you want to recommend me any subjects to you just reply on Bryantfitnessadviser@gmail.com. Reply and we'll have a conversation, and we'll go from there. But if you want some personal help, I'll help you again from my YouTube account. It doesn't end at my YouTube account. I'll help anybody, even if it's outside of my YouTube account. And what I mean by outside my YouTube account is that anywhere outside my YouTube account. If it's outside, if it's at the park, if it's at school, if it's out of my perimeter, my comfort space, I'd say. Anywhere is basically my comfort space, as long as I know what I'm talking about, I know what I'm preaching. But overtraining it really has a toll on the body, and people say, overtraining is the best. Training for so long and training even more is best for hypertrophy, for muscle gain and muscle fiber expansion, for more vascularity, and for a higher metabolism, and for more muscle tone. But that's actually not the thing, is that all these things get stunted. The metabolisms, the functions of the metabolism, the basal metabolic rate, catabolism, anabolism get stunted because the thing that it's putting so much pressure on the gastrointestinal tract. Overtraining because you're working out so hard and you're never getting the food's high nutritional value, even if the high nutritional value, to get that energy, because you want that energy at the end of the day to get down to the catabolism, the catabolic breakdowns, to get broken down, get processed, and to release energy, and to require the energy for it to build upon your basal metabolic rate, to build many metabolites. And usually when you have that many metabolites being made, you usually have less energy, and you usually have a low metabolism. And when you have a lot of metabolics being made, you usually have a lot of energy and you have a high basal metabolic rate. That's just the science behind, that's the science of the body. I love to preach this stuff. It's something that I love to do. I'll do it on a daily basis till the day I die. I do it on my website. You can see if you want to go on my website right now. You can go on my website right now. I'm telling you guys, check it out right now. My website. You hit me up on my website. It's it's definitely a more professional look than just videos and just a YouTube account. I want to expand it more than just meal plans, more than just a YouTube account, more than just advice, tips, more than just how to's, and more than just answers, the truths. More than just that, I want to explain all the stuff on my website, and I want to give you so much more on my website and more professional. So I want to make it more professional look, not just like my website. Bryantfitnessadviser, for instance, is just a website. It's not just a website. It's a Google account. It's a YouTube account. It's a website. It's all that stuff. It's linked together. I link my website and on my YouTube account. You go on there right now. The gastrointestinal tract is that it's really overtraining. It's putting so much toll on your body and so much stress for it to even deliver micronutrients, macronutrients, and vitamins down to the gastrointestinal tract, and it usually gets clogged up because it's putting so much stress on your body. And catabolic breakdowns can happen. Catabolism can happen. Anabolic breakdowns can happen. Releasing of energy cannot happen. Breaking down of broken foods of whose high nutritional value cannot happen. Releasing energy cannot happen. Requiring energy can simply not happen. Because if you're not following the requirements for your body, if you're not allowing your body to do these functions and processes, if you're basically forcing your body to work over the limit that it can, its capacity, is that I say intensity is greater than capacity. It's far greater than the capacity. It's one of my quotes. Oh, I should do a quote called Bryantfitnessadviser Fitness Quotes. Stop living your purpose. Start serving your purpose. Intensity is greater than capacity. Hunger is the starvation of the mind. That's just 3 right there. You guys, I got more. The body is definitely something that is hard to understand. It's hard to comprehend. It's something hard to grasp because it's so complex. The complexity of the body is more complex than any other thing that you could ever think of that your brain could comprehend. The complexity of the body is anything greater than your brain could comprehend. Another Bryantfitnessadviser Fitness quote. We got that right there. This is recording right now. You got that another quote, Bryantfitnessadviser Fitness quote right there. Right in there, we got another Bryantfitnessadviser Fitness quote. We got like 4 Bryantfitnessadviser Fitness quotes. 4. Repeat after me, guys. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. 4 Bryantfitnessadviser Fitness quotes right now. It's amazing. But it's really preventing users from being delivered, and they usually stalls of catabolic breakdowns can happen, anabolism can't happen. And the thing that muscle fibers, they don't have this energy, is that when anabolic breakdowns don't happen, and that catabolic breakdowns can happen, energy is never broken down. And when energy is never broken down, and when as it's broken down, energy is released. If it's never released, never broken down, and it's never released, then never requires energy, and this really stunts your metabolism, stunts your cellular vascularity, stunts your body mass index. It stunts your body mass index. It stunts your muscle tone. It stunts your hypertrophy and your muscle fiber development, your muscle fiber growth, your muscle fiber reproduction, small to large, simple from complex. If it can even, because you don't have all this energy that it requires your metabolism, the thing that it requires all this energy. You don't have all this energy, so usually the thing that's going to be happening is when you don't have this energy is usually the thing that we want to happen. This is 19 minutes going in. Is that metabolism requires energy to make the metabolites when it doesn't have enough energy, so it can't make a lot of metabolic. It can only make a certain amount of metabolites, and usually you have a medium basal metabolic rate. As I talk about, usually you don't have good nourishment, you don't have good nutrition, you're not building up your basal metabolic rate from getting into a hypercaloric state, you're not getting into a hypotonic state, from getting into a caloric deficit to actually lose fat. And this is the whole basis, this is the whole definition of cutting. Is basically, this is 20 minutes. It might be 30 minutes, I don't know, guys, but cutting is basically getting to is that crack? Holy shit, I think that's crack. Meth dealers now. Okay. Oh crap, what were we talking about? Ugh. What? Can you wait a minute? I'm about to finish up. Or so the thing is that it sounds all these things, and it's really not good. And I don't recommend it at all. Overtraining the truth, and this is why I'm doing the video about it. I want you guys to be more alert on it, and I want this information to be passed because I know this is a subject that I don't really cover. I don't regularly cover it on my channel or my website, and I'm doing it just now for you guys because I want to make sure that you guys get this information. Friend wanted me to mention this guy. Jordan, what's his name? Jordan Camera cheats at dodgeball. Friend of mine, Montel, wanted to mention that. It is besides the fact of the video. And just because he made me do this, and for my time to stress a subject for my viewers, I am going to throw hate on him, and he can go F himself. Anyways, besides from that, make sure that you guys get the information that you need, and it starts everything. Is the energy, when you don't have all this energy, and usually you have low metabolism because you don't have many metabolics being made, and you don't have much energy at all in bulk foods because they're usually not even bringing down, and energy is usually not even released, not required, not nearly enough energy is required, and getting down, oh yeah, I was talking about cutting and bulking, and basically building up your metabolism, your basal metabolic rate, to build it up slowly, gradually. You cannot have a high metabolism in the night, a high basal metabolic rate, high metabolism in the night, BMR, the basal metabolic rate, that's what it's called. I made a video about the BMR, the basal metabolic rate, if you want to go on, and basically getting down into a caloric deficit to cut fat, and then after you shed the fat, after you get the fat off, you can really start building your metabolism so you can stop being carbohydrate sensitive, so you can stop being empty calorie sensitive. But this is the thing, it's to stop doing empty calories, to stop doing the fat diet, to stop carbohydrate loading. Stop it. That's going to do nothing for you but stunt your metabolism even further because you're not supplying the nutrition that your metabolism needs. You're not supplying the energy that your metabolism needs to grow, to gradually increase it into a hypercaloric state, to build up your calories, but with nutritional value, not empty calories, but build it up with nutritional value, increasing your calories, but along with nutrients, with macronutrients, micronutrients, micronutrients, vitamins, essential things that your body needs, essential things that your basal metabolic needs to grow. And this is the thing. And to get to a hypercaloric state, you shed the fat, and then you tone the muscle, and then you build your metabolism. That is the correct way how to build your metabolism, to gradually increase your metabolic rate, your basal metabolic rate. You guys just got a free tip in this video, Overtraining the Truth. Anyways, but it really, overtraining prevents further development of muscular hypertrophy, and it usually leads to the body's cells, the muscle tissue deterioration, because it's putting so much stress. It's much farther than DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, that actually pushes for muscular hypertrophy, and that pushes for muscle gain. But it's not even just that. That forces the certain muscle group to grow and the muscle fibers to expand. But when you're not laying the energy, you're not laying the energy, and when not even enough energy is getting down there, and when nearly not enough, it's when the metabolism is not making nearly enough metabolics, and that they're not even aiding in the growth, reproduction, and development of muscle fiber simple to complex, small to large, building up of simple to complex, more of a complex structure. To biosynthesis, going all out with the whole play of biosynthesis, and they're going to be stunted to the point where they're going to be stuck at muscle fiber type 1, where they have less of a capacity to grow and develop and reproduce, and so there's less muscle fiber 2 recruitment, so you don't have much hypertrophy in there even. So that's why I wanted to stress in this video why it's not good in any way. I wanted to get this video across to you guys today. I wanted to get it across to you. I wanted to get it across to you guys. Yesterday it wasn't the right time. The other day before wasn't the right time. The other day before it wasn't the right time. The other day before it wasn't the right time. So I kicked my ass to make a fucking video today, just to make sure that I'm staying on track. It was a 3-day hiatus. I swear, guys. It's a 3-day hiatus. Count my fingers. It's a 3-day hiatus. I promise you guys, I'm never gonna leave for more than a week ever again. I make that promise, and I solemnly swear to never break that promise ever again. But it really prevents the functions from happening. Catabolism, anabolism, biosynthesis, and further energy getting down to catabolism being released and required for your metabolism. So, all these factors play in, and as I just described it, I described it all. Overtraining the truth, and why it's bad is that it stunts all these C's. Is that it stunts the muscle fibers. Is that it stunts how many metabolites can be made. It stunts your metabolism. It stunts how much energy could be there from usually empty calories, but you just decide to put empty calories in there instead of bugging foods, instead of foods high nutritional value that's going to give you more energy and that's going to increase metabolites. So when you increase metabolites, you're having more energy and you're building upon your basal metabolic rate. You can get more into a hypercaloric state with all these factors, and you're gradually increasing your basal metabolic rate. You're going to have a high metabolism. High metabolism that can burn calories and fat, that can burn fat, that can burn carbohydrates, that can burn the calories, that can, to get into a hypercaloric state, you can burn all these calories, the high intake of calories. So you basically don't gain in fat. And that's the good thing about having a high metabolism, is that usually obese people or overweight people, they usually have a low metabolism, and that's because they're carbohydrate sensitive. That's usually because they're forcing carbohydrates down the mouth. They're forcing empty calories down the mouth. They can't look at the person with a high metabolism, because the high metabolism is going to be more efficient. It's going to be more strong. It's going to function differently because it's faster. Simply because it's faster. And an overweight person usually have no blood circulation at all. Usually muscular atrophy happens, which the fat covers the muscle, and blood circulation usually leads to cardiovascular diseases. Cardiovascular deaths is when blood circulation is usually no blood circulation. Occlusion in the wrong way of the blood vessel blockage is when the blood vessels cannot supply and deliver oxygen to the body's cells and muscle tissue, so they really deteriorate from that point on. And the reason why is that they're carbohydrate sensitive and empty calories, so that way they can't burn it off, so that's why they gain in fat. And luckily, with having high metabolism, you can burn off the calories so you don't gain fat. And so you keep building your metabolism. And along with this, training in the right way, building upon vascularity, building upon muscle tone, building upon hypertrophy, building upon your body's function of anabolism, catabolism, biosynthesis, muscle fiber expansion, muscle fiber 2 recruitment expansion, to have more muscle fiber 2 with more of a capacity to grow. This is major. That's it for the video today. It's 28 minutes and 27 seconds we got there, guys. I wanted to stress the major points in this. Why overtraining the truth, it's not the best to training, and you guys really you need to stop doing it. It prevents your body's functions. It prevents the energy from being released. It prevents the food from being broken down, energy from being released required, and it stunts your basal metabolic rate, vascularity. It stunts your muscle fiber, and it stays at muscle fiber type 1 that have less capacity to grow, so it can't move on to muscle fiber type 2 that have more capacity to grow. So it never goes from simple to complex. It stays at simple. It stays at large, so biosynthesis never happens. Anabolism and catabolism never happens. And it's really bad, so you get a metabolism that is usually stunted. It doesn't grow from that point on, because usually not enough metabolites are being made, and not enough energy is being supplied, not enough energy is being required by the metabolism to make nearly enough metabolites, the offspring of the metabolism, to increase the metabolism, to have a high basal metabolic rate, to have energy. And all of these concepts that I talked about in this video, they're really major, and I want to make sure that you guys get across it. It's really major, getting your metabolism, supplying the energy, the relevant foods, the nutritional value that your metabolism needs to increases, and you need the energy, requires the energy to build metabolites. When you have a lot of metabolites you have usually more energy, and that energy is going to make sure that your basal metabolic rate increases and is getting to a hypercaloric state, getting to a hypocaloric deficit where you burn the fat and then you can tone the muscle. You can get to a hypertonic state where you have muscle tone higher than normal, then muscle tone lower than normal, than that. And cutting and bulking, that's the major concepts of cutting and bulking. I made the major videos of that. You want to click on that right now, guys. You can click on those videos. But gradually increasing your metabolism high with nutritional value, you're gonna have more energy, more metabolics being made. You're gonna have a fast metabolism that can burn off carbohydrates, that can burn off fat, and a high metabolism that definitely has more energy, and that is still growing. That's not stunted, and muscle fibers that are not stunted, vascularity that is not stunted, so you can still get more veins and blood vessels that are not stunted. Many blood vessels can supply oxygen, deliver oxygen to the body's cells and muscle tissue, and usually deteriorates in this way when the fat covers the muscle, because blood vessels, they cannot supply and deliver the oxygen to the body's cells and muscle tissue that needs. So this is why they deteriorate, because it doesn't have what it needs. So when you don't have what it needs, like a baby doesn't have its food, it dies. It simply dies. It's common sense. It's not common sense at the same time, because these subjects are really confusing. It's something hard to understand. It's something hard to grasp. If you're definitely a new learner, I hope to teach new people to live on this legacy. Salute, as they would say in the army. 31 minutes now. You still gotta go to the bathroom? You still gotta go? I think she's gotta go. Okay, anyways, guys, Bryantfitnessadviser here today. It's a good video. I'll get her a good video for today, guys. Amazing video, even at that.